Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44. So I'm up 4:30 in the morning like I always do, trying to address my situation over here with the living situation or whatever. And it's just my mindset to come over here and try to just decompress as I run into yet another snag on the technology, just like last night. I was telling you guys that I was trying to set up the account with the LA court system to submit my letter. So I got up this morning and proceeded to try to address that once again, since I had no luck after communicating with my uncle, trying to communicate with my lawyer buddy. He hadn't gotten back to me just yet. Neither had. So I'm just like, all right, let me try to address this morning, the best I can with my brain, which doesn't really, thrive in these situations. I'm smart in other stuff, but when it comes to paperwork and legal stuff, obviously you need school for that. So I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm looking at the paperwork. I'm not as confused as I would have been. I'm asking the courts to waive my fees, but I'm having a hard time mentally submitting income information. It's tedious to a degree, but even more so, it's where you run into a space where you're like, it's not going to work in my favor. You start getting pessimistic when you start putting down your income, because what you understand is they're pulling you out of here because you haven't paid your rent. And essentially what you're about to tell them is that you don't have income. How do you win? Well, the answer is I do have some not property, but some shares that I've been deriving from, which have allowed me to live this long and eat without government assistance. One of the things they're saying is, have you received government assistance? Like, yeah, for a time, until they asked me this question to fill out some updated income, and I didn't know how to do so. And when I told them I didn't have any income, but I had shares of AMC, they asked me how many shares of AMC I had, and I started to wig out. I'm like, why the hell do you want to know that if you already know that? Why do I need to tell you specifically? And I've never even heard anything like that. In order for me to get SNAP benefits, I got to tell you how much property I own as pertains to stock. I just didn't go forward with reapplying after that. When I was told that I couldn't get unemployment for my last job because the job that I worked at for a whole year didn't pay that, but the job before that was who the lady on the phone had mistakenly applied me for, and they didn't qualify to allow me to have unemployment either. Then it turns out that that's what they naturally do for whatever set of reasons as it pertains to me. It's like, nah, your last job, you didn't work there long enough. But we automatically go to your other job and then see if you could be, given unemployment from them. And I'm like, nah, that doesn't make any sense. I just worked with these people for over a full calendar year. How do I not apply or qualify for unemployment benefits after leaving it? But that's what happened. And I didn't reapply again because my mind doesn't let me do that stuff without feeling immense amounts of stress. It's part of the problem. So as I'm sitting here addressing this with a little bit of, patience that I have, I realize that I've run into the exact same problem I had when I was trying to apply for damn SNAP benefits. When it's time to put in income information, first of all, I have no idea what to put there because there's nothing. I haven't worked in a year, ain't got no help. I've been doing everything by myself because I eat very little good stuff. I don't buy myself any clothes. I don't do anything to help myself because I'm holding my damn shares. That's it. I ain't worked because I went crazy trying to hold my damn shares. I didn't buy anything other than what I needed to live because I was holding my shares. That is the truth. Ain't shit else. There's nothing. No one helped me. I didn't help myself. I'm stuck. They're going to rip me out of the only home I have because I was trying to do something that I feel was right and did it the absolutely and ridiculously wrong way. And it was only ridiculously wrong because corruption is in place and nobody's going to do anything about it. Instead of people like myself being given the money we are deserving to give to the people that we owe, we can't because of the corruption that I have walked into with accountability, understanding that there were other avenues I could have went to make sure they had that money, but none that would have changed the world for the better. None that would have made it so that I never had to work again and get out of this ruptured mindset that makes me not want to be here no more. None involving an opportunity, just to just continue to be as productive as I've been. I want to live the way I've been living because it's the only time I've ever actually enjoyed my life. These last 2 years, even though I was miserable in that because I couldn't pay my bills and it made me uncomfortable with that because I knew this was coming. But all the while, I tried to stay true to God, pray to him every day about everybody, damn near but myself. Saw him do everything for them. Great. I'm happy for that. But it's hard to stay motivated when you and your life falls apart and you've been living in a life where everything's been falling apart the whole time because of the same reasons, because you couldn't control your own mind. Then you ask people to help and they do, but you can't help yourself. So how do you go back and ask them again? I'm like, yo, I'm still believing what I believe. I'm still as idiotic as you probably saw me before. And I'm even more gung-ho because I'm right. The stock market is rigged. All the money is being duplicated and quadrupled 100 times over. Your work isn't worth a thing. It's what I know. It's what I've come to understand when looking at them duplicate shares over and over and over again. That is a cheating of the system itself. That's a place where money is duplicated while we're earning it as if it's a few to share, as if it holds the same amount of weight as it should. You want me to go out there and do this, and this for money when I know I could walk over there where that guy is and see that he's just making a money tree for no reason? And you want me to balance that out with understanding? I'm unable to. Call it mental illness, but I'm unable to. It's almost like understanding that there's only but so much road before you fall off a cliff. And everybody's falling off a cliff because it's the law. I don't want to die. Do you see what I'm saying? Maybe it don't make no sense to you, but it is what it is. I can see that y'all walking off of a cliff. And I, even though the culture is to walk off a cliff, kind of want to live this. And so this is how I view it, and this is how I've struggled. And this is why I'm in the space I'm in. Every question you ask me in regards to how I got here, it's faith. Being fed up with being in a world where people are okay with corruption. Being fed up with making it so easy to just be indifferent. This world ain't meant for people like me, because people like me go against the structure of how the world continues to thrive while siphoning from the people who don't have anything. We agree to this. On the lower levels, on the higher levels. And when you actually try to stand in your life and fight against it, if you don't have a team with you and you just stand by yourself, this is what happens. You don't get a chance to be a good person in this life as I see it, because you have to take from somebody or barter with somebody who's taking from somebody in order to get what you need. I don't want to take. I see the imbalance over there. Me taking just continues to feed it. Not me, it. The imbalance of things. The same thing that's going to make it just as hard for somebody else 25 years from now to do the same things I'm trying to do. I don't want to live in a world where that's the case. Just because you made it a little easier to do doesn't mean you made it any less psychologically screwy. Because that's how they get people to comply with this nonsense. Mindset stuff. Stuff that's going to apply in your mind. And look, the pressure is coming from other people to these people who are pressuring me. This is the importance. You can't have a bleeding heart because too many people are pressuring you to provide the God, also known as money. It ain't really a God, but the way we act, the way we behave, the way we center our whole mortal selves around it, throw away everything we have and a half just to get it. You would have to reason with the idea that someone like me would eventually come around and be like, nah, I don't want to do this just because I have to. Because I have to. I talked to God, and you know what he told me? Just stay still. I'm talking about these religious things they put in the religious things that protect you? Probably not. Because if you actually believe in God and you're literally following what he tells you to do, there's no way to really tell people that that's the case. You're just going to look crazy. That's all there is. You don't have the people around you, a faith-based religion practice that siphons from the city or from the neighborhood. If it ain't backing you up, saying yes, that person's actually a person of God, and they are with us because we are official. This is a religion, and therefore, and then the courts will be like, oh, okay, it's a religion. Oh, okay, he's talking to God. I didn't go to nobody's church. Do I count? I pray to Jesus. I think that qualifies. I would say he told me to do this. He didn't tell me how to fix it, though. So I guess he's going to be relying upon my ability to convince you that this makes sense. Or my ability to live in the wild or whatever. You know what I mean? Have friends that'll help me, whatever the case may be. Be homeless. Turn my spirit around so I can start siphoning from people like everybody else, so I can make it like everybody else. That's what it is. Let me get back to work. Let me pay some bills. Let me get back out here, churn away as my body deteriorates. I don't want to go on that path. I don't have no path to nothing else to see. When I sit in this camera, I give y'all everything I got. There's nobody watching. I don't even care because it's for the future. How do you make a system that's meant to siphon from its people understand a person that's meant to not? Meant to not. There's no room for me, man. I'm telling you. It's not. I was raised to believe. That's the part that really hurts my feelings. I was raised to believe that this world wasn't meant for a person like me. I was raised to believe that a person like me wasn't meant for the world. That a person like me was lazy. That a person like me didn't want to contribute. That a person like me couldn't get out of their own way for nothing, which is probably true in some cases. I'll tell you the truth. But this is what they would label that person. It may not be the case for all of them. This person couldn't hack it. They were weak or soft. But here's what I know. Even if I'm mistaken in what I did, I could be mistaken. Obviously, the results ain't looking too good as of right now, even though everything as it is still, by way of what it is, which is a squeeze, looks like it still could be on par. We could have the squeeze today and everything I did was right. That's the cold thing about everything that I'm going through. That's the part that drove me actually into this space. If there's a weekend where I have a deadline in regards to finances, got to pay the rent, got to pay this, got to pay that. Do you know what's on the way? Another day that could change my life forever. That I've been holding these shares and sacrificing for 2 years. It could pop and take care of all this. All of it. And it's supposed to, by way of the due diligence that we've done, the manipulation that we understand is in place. It should. I should be able to look in my account, see an immense amount of money that is there just because of what it is I own. And because of that, I should be able to take the money to Mrs. Ritter, who's suing me, and pay her money. That is what is fair in this world based on what it is that I've done and what it is that I should be entitled to based on what is taking place and what it is that I own. When you get down to the nitty gritty with all your legal this and that and this and that, that is exactly what fair is going to be found. That's good. That's what's actual. And if we were in a world where people actually gave a damn about making sure things were balanced out, they wouldn't even come for me for the money. They would go to those who are rigging that stock market for the money because that's where it's at. That's why I have no income. That's why I stopped working. Because by way of what they owe me, I don't need to be damn working. And that's exactly what the Lord put in my heart last time I prayed about getting money. He said, you don't have to worry about money. That's the problem. Those voices tell me these things and put me in these situations. Same voice tell me to get up and do some more push-ups. Same voice tell me don't speak so negatively about the safe. Same voice tells me to pray for all these people like Kanye and Kyrie and all these different folks that are on this prayer list. All of this is being told to me by the same voice that told me to sit in this damn house, put that paperwork that they filed underneath my damn feet, and keep on working on the things that I love to do because the Lord is pleased with me and he'll make it make sense. And I get to these spaces right here. I guess I'm supposed to continue to apply that faith. And then I wake up in the morning, I'm all messed up, sad as hell, need all my friends. And then they call me like 20 minutes after I'm going through it. And then proceed to take me out of the house for the first time in almost a year, where I have one of the best days I've had, while simultaneously being able to help them and be in places I wanted to be for a long time, but haven't been for other reasons. I mean, I don't know what's going on with my life. I wake up this morning and I'm trying to fill out paperwork. keep myself from being evicted out of an apartment. And the only thing I've been praying the Lord will allow me to do is to give them their money. I've been praying to the Lord for the betterment of them. Things that the courts would not acknowledge as anything of any value. But like my intentions toward Babcock and Associates have been prayerful. I'm ashamed of how this is played out. I've been angry at God for making it so that my mind feels this way and wants to do these things this way and has the habits of not doing things the right way. Tired of living in a world where I got to be the crazy guy because I see things all kinds of different ways. And ain't nobody here to ration with me or knock me off of that soapbox. And if they were, they would have to get past the logic, which is going to be hard to in some cases, depending on what it is that I'm feeling and saying. I get in my own way, and then the Lord don't let me escape the pain I put myself in. But he allows me to have the faith to keep going and then go through the strenuous nature of all of it. Lean on friends, lean on family, and then keep the reputation of somebody who can't do nothing because they don't see this. You, my friends on YouTube, you see this. But my family and my friends, they don't know this side of me because they never got a chance to get this close to me to know this is there. What this looks like to them probably is typical incompetence, likely a weed head, someone who went through a lot as a child but didn't go through school, so he's not very wise and smart about his decision making. They don't know my soul. They don't know it. They don't know how hard I want to fight for those who don't have nothing, or how hard I would love to give to them what it is I've already been given, or return it to them tenfold. They don't know who I pray for every day, or that I pray every day, or that I say affirmations every day, or that none of that. They've never seen any of my art. They've never heard a single one of my playlists. They've read only maybe one of my poems. I don't know how many of these videos they've seen. They don't know me. You probably know me better than them. But it's cool because at the end of the day, they always come through for this stranger, man. And I'm always thankful. And I try my best to display them the good energy that I have in my heart when they see me. I love them just the same, but to know people from the day to day, to know what matters to them, to be able to advise them right or left, to give a damn about what they're going through. It's hard when you don't know somebody that well, you know what I'm saying? When you see somebody make a mistake, you shoot them some money earlier in the year, you don't hardly hear from them. And the next time you hear from them, they ain't got nothing better going for themselves. I'm just sick of being in a space where I look this way, even though that's not what's going on at all. It ain't. It's a thankless job, thankless situation. Sacrifices that I made that nobody really knows or saw that I made. Struggles that I went through that may not have even been necessary just to stay in the play the way that I did, so that I can manage my heart and keep my shares. Manage my mind rather than keep my shares. But all of that, I don't know what to do other than to say I've done all I can at this point. I'm trying to file the paperwork. Of course, I'm taking a break, but only reason why I took a break because it wouldn't let me submit the paperwork. I filled out everything I need to fill out. And then, I got to take that back, of course. I realized I had to fill out that income information, and then realized it was going to be zero there. And realized they're going to, this is it. They're going to rule against me because it's going to say zero. I could tell them how many shares I got. Now they're asking for all the fidelity information, all the stuff that I have in regards to my shares. And it's like, I'm deriving from that to eat. So next time you talk to me, it's going to be less and less and less. So much for holding, right? So much for being a part of this. But I figured, hey, I'm owed some money right now. So as soon as I get it, you know where I was putting it. Anything that didn't need to be eaten or smoked goes there. Because it's how dedicated of an ape I am. But if I was fully dedicated, then I would be working 3 and 4 jobs to fill myself with nothing but shares. But then the way I look at it is, if I can't maintain my mindset, and if I'm going to be out there killing myself just to make it, then I don't need to be making it. That's always been my understanding about life. What am I sparing myself for if I'm not useful to others and I can't live the way I want to? This way, when I'm living the way I want to, I'm useful to others based on what it is I'm doing. And I'm useful for myself based on how I'm able to spare myself of all of that. And I consider, what if I didn't have a family that would help me? How would I pull myself out the mud and start digging around with people and doing what I have to do? Well, that's when it becomes fight or flight. I don't know. I've been fortunate enough not to be in that situation too often. Especially when things get this dire. I've been afforded things that have probably made me soft and weak. Maybe if I grew up robbing people and doing stuff in the streets, I probably would have been a stronger person as it pertains to getting this money. Probably been dead already, but, better temperament. Conditioning. This is one of the reasons why I feel like I got to get my head together before I involve anybody in my situation. No wife, no kids. Because if you can't instill in your children a strength that you don't have when this is your problem, you don't need to be having no kids. You think I want to have kids with these problems? And I can't fill out paperwork and shit? Not the man for that. And this is one other reason why I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Why is God playing with me in regards to my life? He knows that I'm gonna rationalize these things this way, and I'm gonna sacrifice things that probably shouldn't have to be sacrificed just to be alone. Just to be alone while doing the things I want to accomplish. What went wrong is that I wanted to be by myself. The influence of the evil in men's hearts and women's hearts just keep me from wanting to be around y'all. So in order to function, I have to isolate, it seems. It seems. That's when I find the most comfort. I could be myself, stay indoors, talk to myself, talk to God, be who I want to be without the influence of others or the judgment of others or the implication of morbid cultures that make my energy worse. I'm trying to stay away from y'all in that way while influencing y'all to be better because I see a way. Can't do that shit if I'm constantly adhering to things that have to be adhered to, things that are fair in nature. But I'm not wired for any of it. And I told myself something this morning. I said, if I had a gun, I'd have used it. There's a lot of people who would be upset at me for that, but I'm tired of living like this, man. You get to a point where you're just tired of being uncomfortable with every fucking thing. And then look at my body and I'm going through what I'm going through as it pertains to my intestinal stuff. It's like, what am I waiting for? What am I doing this for? If the Lord wants to put something in my heart to say, I say it every time. He want to put something in my heart to do, I try to get it done. I don't deny him nothing. He wanted me to turn away from my ways. I turned away. All of it. He warned me, said this, and this. All right, I got it. I'll turn away. I don't know what he want me to do now. I'm trying my best. I guess I'm supposed to contact a lawyer or something. Can't afford to pay him. I'll get a government lawyer. That's somebody to talk to. I ain't talk to nobody but my friends, maybe my family when I need help. But let's get into a conversation back and forth with a lawyer. Let's see if he wants to teach me the ways of how to make it acceptable so that I can live in an apartment. And what's the word besides paying these people? We got to waive the fees. You got to talk to this person. You got to get this information. And we got to proceed to be indifferent and balanced as it pertains to the system of America. Because America's system of balance, barter system, blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of smart evil that we all agree upon. And I just know that I benefit from it. I was born to it. In order for me to have thrived in it, others had to have gotten through days like this and submitted stuff like that and got out of there and moved over there and all kinds of other stuff that I just don't do because I am not wired to do any of it. I'm not wired to do any of this stuff by myself. So it is what it is, man. I'm just asking the Lord to I don't know what he wants to do. Whatever is best, you know? I don't know what comes with what. So I just ask for gifts of a divine nature of his choosing. That's really all I ask for. I learned to stop asking for specifics because they don't come. They don't come. I used to say, hey, Lord, could you bring me certain money? Nah, I never showed up. Hey, Lord, could you make it so that I don't, have these issues? And then, nah, not really. But if you stop asking for all that and then start praying for other people, I might, you know what I mean? I might consider what it is you actually need. So I start doing that. And things started getting better on the inside, but none of my stuff that on the outside. Nah, that's the problem. It's like, you're helping me. I need you to help gravity. I need you to help the stuff around me, apparently. Because that's the only thing I can really do. You could turn me into an artist, a playlist curator, a talker, all kinds of stuff. But if I don't have the temperament to incorporate others into my circumstance, I'm just a man standing alone waiting for the world to close in on me. With all kinds of talents and wonderful things to show. As they proceed to pull me up out of this thing. When I look at people who are behind the scenes, not the scenes, but behind the curtain, so to speak, who are celebrities. They're doing their thing, making their money. They forgo certain freedoms in order to do so. Freedoms that I hold dear, to be able to use my voice to speak. And it's not even about wanting to be able to challenge anything. It's not that. It's just knowing that I'm on a slip of the tongue accidentally because I'm naturally honest. It's another reason why I isolate. It's a defensive mechanism against certain flaws in my own personality based on isolation, knowing that I've isolated, so I'm green. I don't be around. I don't mess with y'all politics. I don't want to disrupt them either, but I definitely don't want to be a part of them. I was always told I was honest. Too honest. In a world where everybody's doing whatever they want to do and other people kind of cover other people's secrets, you don't need to be around. And you like that. See, I'm telling you, there's been things that I do for reasons I've forgotten. But when I break them down, they always come back around to some type of sense. There's always some rhyme or reason of what it is that I do or think I see. And if I'm wrong, so be it. But I'm definitely looking at something. Just sometimes I forget to tell you what it is I see. There's always something. I didn't buy myself no clothes, no shoes, nothing like that because I wasn't leaving the house. It made no sense to. I didn't leave the house because I knew if I did, I would need to continue to buy shoes, clothing, gas, all these different things that would ultimately contribute to me deriving from my shares in ways that wouldn't allow me to let it stretch this long. Derived from grandfather's money that he gave me that wouldn't allow it to stretch this long. I had to sacrifice everything in order to make the money stretch so that I didn't have to have income in order to live. I stretched $7,000 over the course of 12 months, basically. Just to survive so I could hold my shares. I didn't leave the house. I didn't go see people. I didn't handle business. I let my health go left. I let my car go twice. Went and got it back with immense stress against my own plans just because I was feeling guilty. Just feeling guilty that I had been blessed with something that I really, really wanted and didn't take care of it because of something that took precedent over it. But then it was like, I can't let that sit in my garage. So they come get it. Situation would do what it does in my mindset. Make me sad, traumatize me, depress me, whatever you want to call it. And I just could proceed to kick forward, keep pushing forward. I've taken so many losses in the past 2 years. Crypto, finances, AMC itself, isolation away from family. It's not that I don't believe in the ability for things to get better quickly. It's just when I was listening to myself in the therapy session, I realized that I didn't leave no loose end tied to the fact that I had chosen to do something that did not work. Like, yeah, it was for the right reasons, but you still put yourself into a position to where it was a big chance this didn't work out. But my thing was, right should win. This ain't the movies. God is real. I've been praying to a real God, so even if it looked crazy, it should work out. And this is when it gets really tricky. Because it's like, okay, it can work out, but it don't have to. I've watched good people suffer. I've watched great men who stood on real business not make it. People who really, really deserve good things suffer and die and all kinds of stuff. So why am I any different? Why would I be given some great blessings? I ain't earned that. For all I know, this is my time to just suffer. And so my thing is, if God's doing that, just give me the strength to get through it, man. I don't care to disappoint you just because it is what I'm taking back ain't too good. If you give me the strength to take it on, I can just take it on. Maybe there needs to be something applied here in order for you to do whatever you got to do. I'm not one to try to get in the way of the plan, but for me to be unnecessarily uncomfortable with the circumstances that I find myself in seems a bit unnecessary when they're coerced by the God I pray to. When this is his plan, why do I have to feel so uncomfortable and uneasy and unsure throughout the entire process if it's an understanding that he's doing this? And that's why I know it's mental illness, because there's no answer for that. There's no tie to that. There's no loose end to that. The answer is I'm just applying on faith. I watch my mom apply faith. I watch my friends and family apply faith, and I want to believe in it. I want to believe in something better than the evil in my heart that I react to when I see certain things that don't seem of God, or when I take on certain ills of the world, however they may be, and I decide I want to get my pound of flesh out of the world, so to speak. You did me wrong, now let me do wrong in response to it, because nobody cares, so let me enjoy myself. But it's not really enjoying nothing. I'm not enjoying that. I'm just in pain, and therefore I'm trying to lash out. And when you do that enough times and you realize that it doesn't beget nothing but more negative energy, you just say, let me try something different now. I don't really like how that looks when I do that. So I stopped doing that. God warned me to stop doing that, and I see the fruit. And I don't want to do that no more. You hit me with something that I didn't like, Lord. Okay. Well, what is your plan now? Do you want me to do something in response to that will make it so that this can work out? Or that's so I can land on my feet? I'm not mad at you. I'm not going to go out there and rob nobody in response to this. I'm not going to go giving up all my affirmations and turning my head against God and start leading the people in the wrong direction and stop talking altogether. None of that. No, I'm not doing none of that. I'm right here. I'm right here, man. What are we doing? That's what I'm asking my God at this point. You woke me up this morning with the mindset to address this situation. You know, this has been a running theme for me. Wake me up with the heart to do something and then not the path to complete it. It's been going on for the last 48 hours in different patterns. It's like, okay, I'll start the process of doing a playlist yesterday. He put it in my heart. I was sitting here depressed, trying to figure out why my paperwork wasn't being able to be submitted, why I can't get my friends to hit me back in regards to the situation, uncle, all that. I'm like, don't these people know I got 5 days to respond? No telling how long it's been since they applied. Like, I'm going to be evicted because people aren't getting back to me in time. And that's fine, because they don't have to. It's my business, not theirs. But it's just a circumstance. And I'm sitting there, I'm saying, Lord, what am I going to do? This is looking bad. And he says, make a playlist. I'm like, bro, why is my God putting in my heart to do something I love to do when I need to do something that's preserve my life? Like, bro, I don't have time to make a playlist. I do have time to save my butt, though. But he was like, no, essentially what was put in my heart was, I want you to do what it is that I told you to do. I know what the world is telling you to do, and I also understand that you have to adhere to it. But as of right now, if you're going to come to me, you know what I'm going to tell you to do. I'm going to tell you to do something that I put you here to do. Do a playlist. So I proceeded to start a playlist. It was dope. I couldn't complete it. Apple had a situation between the hour of 6 and 7 where they did not have any access. I guess they were doing something updated for Thanksgiving. Valentine's night. So whatever they were doing kind of messed with that aspect of the app. So I couldn't complete it. Till about an hour later, I did end up completing it. But this is the point. He would have me start something, can't finish. You know, a situation yesterday when I was trying to do the paperwork, start something, can't finish. It's just like, and then when I go to him, as I always do, with the same voice of thankfulness and appreciation, praise God, all that. It's like, nah, I'm not telling you to do anything at all that would adhere to the things that you absolutely have to do. Just like it's been my entire life. It never inspired me to do no homework, needed that. It didn't inspire me to handle situations at Miracle Mile. I got evicted. It was horrible. And he just kept on saying, I'm with you. I'm like, bro, I'm suffering. Like, you're with me, but I'm in my head. I want to die. Like, this sucks, bro. And he's like, yeah, but like, dude, you got talent, so enjoy it. It's just like, no. And so it's like, yeah, I appreciated it yesterday, day before yesterday, because the day started off miserable. It ended on a high, and I'm like, yeah, that was great. But then I realized, God, you put me on a really, really messed up roller coaster, just like you do to so many people every day. taking people from them, having people in their lives do all kinds of stuff, however it goes. Ups and downs, roller coasters. People don't want to be on that. Like, that's what I want to tell my most high. Like, bro, nobody wants to be on a roller coaster of emotions. Nobody wants that. It's just hard, man. And people walk around with their chest out and they do things the wrong way because they're reacting to this. They're reacting to stress. They're reacting to how it feels when something's ripped out from under you, and then you got to proceed to continue your life. You know what I mean? It's like, you had this enough times, people do be quitting on life. It's like, but for me, it's like, I don't know. My belief is that I could contribute. So days I don't want to contribute, I got to just fight. It's like, fight for the moments that matter. And it's like, how do I get there? It's the same thing I said in the last video. How do I get to those moments when the ones that suck so bad? And even when they suck so bad and they, and I get through it, I get to the high of the mountaintop and I still remember how bad it was. I'm still living on the edge of relief because I just came out of a storm. And then what? I'm waiting for the next storm. That's been the problem. The anticipation of things is messed up in my head. It's the anticipation is what really it is. Anticipating having to communicate with people and they're not going well. Anticipating sounding a certain way and the energy that come with it. Anticipating looking a certain way. And that's why I don't go. All of these things. These perception issues, they ruin my whole way of operating. I'm going to snap out of it. I didn't apply for this because I was afraid of that. I had anxiety about this because, well, I was afraid of that. It's like, I don't particularly want to live in fear at all. I don't find myself to be a punk or somebody, whatever word you would throw in there to say he's a coward. I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not a coward. You got deficiencies of the brain. Maybe from head trauma. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've had 2 pretty good concussions. That might be what it is. I don't know, man. But I do know I pray to God every day, and he keeps on giving me stuff that just makes me feel great. The playlist is amazing. Delete CD 24. What's it called? 324 was the last one I made. More Afro beats. Fire. Great music. He told me to make it. I didn't know what type of music I was going to make when he said make a playlist. I told him I didn't have any genre in mind or nothing. Most of the music that I had worked through in the last playlist, I thought I had pulled out all the best stuff from it. So I wasn't inspired to do no playlist when I had that in my head. I just obeyed it and made something fire. And that's been the story of the entire last 2 years, basically. I had no plan. I just obeyed it. And as a result, I made a bunch of fire. This channel got a bunch of good stuff on it. All of the stuff I do. I don't need to go over it again. You know what I'm doing at this point. Probably exaggerating, but I would say if this stuff reaches peaks, it's probably about $15 million worth of stuff in this house that I've made. I'm serious. No exaggeration at all. I just have no idea how to turn that stuff into anything, man. I don't know how, bro. I don't have the temperament to allow people around me to help me. At least I didn't up to this day. I didn't. All I'm supposed to do, move in with people. I don't even want to live with people, man. This is how you get backed into a corner with your own mental illness and just self-expired because you are looking around at all the different things. It's like, I can't do that. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm running out of time. Even if I feel like, okay, I want to live today. It's like, I'm running out of time. Look at the deadline. They're going to pull me out of here. Go some more trauma. I'm going to be in the streets. Now what? Fight or flight? Some of y'all thrive in that with my spirit, trying not to harm, trying not to hurt, trying not to do this, that, trying not to turn into a monster. Trying not to turn into a monster. I wonder how many people have the psychology I do that try their best to keep themselves from turning into anything that they don't appreciate. Because if it wasn't for God in my heart, I do believe that's where I would be headed. It's in my heart, man. I was raised by the right lady, the right person. That's what it came down to as it pertains to putting the right things in my heart to be a decent, solid, careful, not to hurt anybody, human being. That's why you see this type of person before you, fighting all these natural frustrations and concerns and demons and all of that, only looking to turn the negativity within instead of doing like a lot of other people do and hurting others because of their own frustration. I don't want that at all. I don't even have that in me. It's not there. And if you look at my therapy sessions, you know I fight against that with my voice. And the pressure of the world gets to me too, man. It gets to my little messed up mind too. And I sit here and I try to be positive. And I know that's what works. Because even if things don't work out for me, I could fall into the worst pit. But still, if you apply faith, it'll work for you, especially if you do things the right way. That's why it's so important to me to get it out. Because it's like, yo, just because my situation ain't all that, don't mean that you can't apply what I've said and have it work for you. It certainly can, depending on what it is. And how you do it and how you approach it. I think good energy is the only way to handle these things. It's just trying to muster that good energy alone when you're feeling bad is very difficult. But I'm trying to find the strength. I don't own a gun in this house. That's why. It ain't because I don't believe in the ability to protect myself. It's because I know when days like this, I will hurt myself. It's what comes naturally to me. The mindset like this, but I never do it. Never. Never. Clearly, it's still here. I don't want to do that now. I really don't. I'm not even interested in that. No desire to that whatsoever. But it's what comes with life that ultimately has you thinking like that anyway. It's what comes with the frustration of not being able to lay down and sleep in your depressed state like I ultimately would naturally do. Or get up and fight that ability, that willingness to lay down by working out. No, I gotta go head toward the stress itself and apply my intent to dealing with it so that it doesn't deal with me. And then you look at the idea of that gun and you say, man, that thing looking real shiny right about now. You know what I'm saying? And it's disturbing because you don't want nobody else to think that way. You know, you don't want nobody to think that way. It's irresponsible to tell people that. Don't do that. Don't think like that. But I think what I'm trying to help you understand is that you're fighting. What you're seeing now is fighting. You're not seeing somebody adhere to that energy and say, yeah, that gun is shiny. Let me eat the bullet. No, you're seeing somebody saying, but I need to keep going because whatever. You know, I don't know why I need to keep going, but I do, you know, like I do. And I'm telling you, you do too. And you'll figure out why you need to, just like I'm hoping to figure out why the hell I need to as well. And I pick up that phone or the phone I'm holding right now and continue to try to push into it what is necessary so that people will grace me the ability to do what it is that I don't have the right to do. And what do I tell them? You think after 45 minutes of talking on this phone, I got any 43 minutes, any closer to knowing what else, saying what else is my income? I don't have income. I've avoided income. Why? Because I perceive income as sin. It is. Because I know where the money is at, I know where it's siphoned from, and I know it's bull. All of it is bull. It's bull. And there's people starving all over the world. I'm not one of them. I'm not starving. I will be if I keep this up, but I'm trying to fight against that, man. I'm trying to fight against that. I feel like once we pop the squeeze off, the people who are responsible for doing this will be crippled. The people who have been responsible for keeping us like this for generations will finally see the light of day in regards to the fate that they have earned with their cheating. Just like I guess you could say I earned this by my inability to do things the right way myself for whatever chosen reasons. Even if given to me by God, like they say theirs were, which is really interesting. God tell me to do stuff I can't complete. Give me a good day, a bad day start. And I just wonder if he's actually telling these people to do these things, that trespass against my people. Because they tell you it's God. When you get to the nitty gritty of racism, you're going to find that it's just their spiritual entities. Their energy is like tied into that spiritually. It's like it's religion. That's why they burn the cross in regards to it. It's religion. It's like a faith. It's like they stand on the belief that if as long as they hate ends as much as they do, they can find themselves in a space of spiritual enlightenment and heaven or something. Like, I do believe it's that. That's why they will not rationalize with black people properly. They will talk at you. They will do a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, if they're about that, then it's going to boil down to them having the right to hate you by way of the God that they pray to. So my thing is he really telling them that? Like, is he really telling them, yo, hate the ends? You don't have to hate them. Because it brings about the balance of what it is that I'm trying to do. And then they proceed to do that. And we say, no, that's evil. God don't want you to do that. But then I'm sitting here and I'm saying, for the sake of what it is that he's doing in the fullness of certain things, it stands to reason why he allows certain negative things to take place so that the fullness of the positive can take place too. So I'm not certain that he's not actually telling those people the things that I don't want him to tell them that would actually hurt me for the sake of the balance of things. Because they swear he does. And they stand on it for generations. Am I not supposed to wonder? I don't think God conveniently hates me. I just think I'm collateral damage. I think my people might be collateral damage for the ultimate goal of whatever God's trying to do on this planet. I think that. Because I've been trying to do everything I can to save myself and save, and instill a love and a peace into my heart in regards to my people. And I look around, they just continue to uphold the bullcrap. They just uphold it. Let's spin the block. Let's put on clown shoes. Let's twerk. All this stuff. And it's fine because it's culture, except for it's not. Because it's exploited. It's not supposed to be on the forefront of my mind. I'm supposed to not overthink all of this and continue to be a consumer. I got to get back out here and get Miss Ritter her money. That's all that my responsibility is in life. If I'm not doing that, I need to crawl into a grave because that's it. You either pay your bills or you're not a man. Have your esteem attached to your ability to adhere to these stresses. Because if you're not this, you're not a man. So I don't deserve a life, even though I stand on things that would ultimately provide us a path away from mental bondage for generations to come, and a way to build away from our own self-destructive desires. Even though I fail in that area, I'm from that culture, so of course I'm going to fail in that area. But that I know that shouldn't even be, feels like it's independent to me and maybe a few other people that I've spoken to in this life and heard from in this life. And everybody tells me the right way to do things. My good friend tells me, you got to shorten the videos. Nobody's going to listen to them. I don't give a damn. Why? Because I ain't make these for these short, attention span ass people. No disrespect to anybody who's watching, but I didn't make it for us. Because we can't look at anything for longer than 5 minutes without losing our frustration. Without losing our focus, rather. I didn't make nothing at all I've done, with the exception of the Laker videos, of course, for people today. None of it. Zero. It's all for their kids. It's all for their grandkids. Some of them ain't even here yet. That's for them, in their minds as grown people. For them to look back on pieces that give them perspectives on a circumstance that took place in a time like this, when things were as they were. Not for the people who are living it today, who are going to go whatever, however. No, man, they don't got 5 minutes for me. I can't meet the numbers of what it is that they want based on the way that they move, because that's not real to me. That's not real to God. Not as it pertains to me. You gave me way too much to say to give you 15 minutes to talk. No, you're going to get an hour and a half. And you're going to be focused on it too, because it's not going to be boring. It's content the Lord put in my heart to tell you exactly what I'm dealing with. And this is the case, man. That's how I approach everything I do every day. I don't try to get the numbers for the money, because that's ultimately what it is aligned with. Money equals short-term, attention span, rhythmic bullcrap. We can keep people's attention span under 37 seconds. That is what is required. That is what's valuable to us. And thus, if you can keep people thinking like that, if you can keep them in that rhythm along with everybody else who's doing it, you'll be valuable to us. And we'll give you the money. See how that works? You keep a certain rhythm with the people. You make the people think a certain way, make them think rhythmically in a certain pattern. They can't stay here for 45 minutes because they got to be somewhere else. See, we've already set aside the time that they have to look at what you're talking about. We have already gotten everything in their timeline that we want them to see throughout the day that's aligned with what it is we want them to feel and what it is that we believe their interests are based on other stuff that we've conditioned them to feel over the course of their lifetime. Little jingles that they may have seen on commercials when they were 7. Those are the same jingles in the music they listen to now. Same shoes that they saw the little Disney characters running around in. Same shoes we're trying to sell them for $350 now. I, crazy person who likes to be alone by himself, am not supposed to see all this. I'm meant to not see this. I'm supposed to be too busy trying to get Miss Ritter her money every day. I need to work, eat Taco Bell, come home, work, maybe work out at the gym. If I'm paying the membership for $12, it's going to inflate to $90. Come home, work, go to the gas station. It's going to have $4.97 a gallon on this block. But if I go down 2 miles, that same Shell station is going to have a gas for $7.98. Like, I'm supposed to see all this, absorb all this, and just be like, yep, and I want to keep working and living and having some kids, and I don't want to do none of that shit. I want to get the hell out of here. I don't like none of this. I'm telling you the truth. I want out. And I ain't got no way out, man. There's no way out. I'm stuck in a place that I love, man. I love America. It's illegal not to love America, man. If you don't love America, you are definitely treasonous, and you're going to be locked away forever. Now, not loving your country means pointing out all the flaws that you see. So if you point out any of these flaws, you're treasonous. Just letting you know, the stock market's not rigged. We're not rigging it. I'm not, whatever, man. See what I'm saying? That's why I'm not a legal person. I'm not a legal person, bro. No, I'm not a professional. Because that requires me to not be real. I gotta lie. I gotta fake the funk for your politics. Everything's fine. There's nothing wrong. Everything's wrong, man, including myself. I got things to do, and I can't even bring myself to do them because of this embedded nonsense over the course of 38 years. Do you see this? That's what it is. It's perception in this way of 38 years that you're tired of. I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to do a damn thing other than what it is that comes naturally to me, which makes me the most productive person I could be. How ironic. How ironic. And I sit up here and I'm watching people, and I love them. I love them. Please understand, I love these people when I say this. But they're all focusing on what it is that they're doing, right? I'm watching Laker people and they're focused on their Laker stuff. I'm watching music people and they're focused on their music stuff. I'm looking at poets and they're focused on their poet stuff. I'm looking at people who do, content pieces about themselves, and they do this stuff by themselves. I do all of these things. All of them. That's the part that bothers me. I'm a walking factory. I'm not just some dude that just wants to sit in the house and watch and play video games anymore. Or a guy who just who's too incompetent to go to work. I don't want to go to work because it hinders my productivity. It slows down what I'm actually able to do, man. I'm a factory. I'm telling you, I'm a freaking factory. You name it, I could do it, basically. You give me enough time to figure it out, I'll figure it out. That's the part that kills me. The part that doesn't let me escape this life. It doesn't let me escape this hell. It's that ego that allows me to feel like I'm talented, and then I deserve to be exalted for that talent. Even if that is supposed to be a sin, so I hate myself for that. I end up saying stuff like the only applause I ever need is the beating of my heart from which you are the percussion stuff. It's because I truly believe that I'll be worse for appreciation. It'll get to my head. It'll make me worse. See how many different snags I come into. But this is the truth. Because when you look at certain people who take on that type of stuff, they are worse for it. They start off as solid people and they end up narcissists. They end up thinking the world is about them. I already had that problem as a youngster. I always thought the world was about me because I needed to protect myself from it. So it was going to be about me just by sheer nature. I can't walk into that space. I can't walk into that and just be like, yeah, this is fine. No, I know how bad it is. I dealt with that. The negative aspects of it. You don't want to just willingly walk into that. You do not want to be the center of the universe, because if you are, that means you're a target. Everybody wants to eat off of you. Everybody's jealous of you or angry at you because you think that about yourself. Ain't nothing to want. None of this fixed my problem, did it? Not really. I don't even know if it gave me a better mindset. I just wanted to talk. I honestly don't know how I'm going to keep my place, or if I have any chance to. It looks like they filed that paperwork before the end of the year, which might actually work in my favor given the fact that they weren't supposed to. Paperwork's supposed to get here and give me enough time to appeal. If the paperwork comes 2 months after you sent it, how the hell can I appeal? So these are the type of things, it's like I don't know what to tell people. I don't know what to tell myself. I really don't. I'm just here, man. I'd be over there doing what it is I was doing if I had the temperament to do it, but I didn't. So I had to come over here and talk to y'all. If I didn't have this outlet, I probably would have just laid down, tried to go to sleep, wake up. I don't know. Smoke weed. If there was a video game to play it. If there was someone to call them. Plead with them to help me. Pray they do. There was no outlet, man. There was no outlet. I got one now, though. So I'm appreciative of that. But, yeah, man, I'm very, very hopeful that the Lord would turn my day around. Obviously, I'm hopeful that my words didn't make you feel worse, even though I know that that's what negativity does. But I can't spare you of my negativity and heal myself of it at the same time. Those two things don't occupy the same space. Either you get this stuff out or it stays in you. And I let it stay in me, and it eats away at me, and it keeps me from being productive. And I don't wish to not be productive, because I really genuinely, for the first time in my life, really do love myself. I genuinely want to see me safe and healthy and happy and given the best of things, and have a wife and family and a bunch of buddies that love them. These are things I actually want for myself, because I'm a solid dude who deserves that stuff. Imagine that. Never thought I'd say that. Never thought I'd feel it, but it's true. I really am. I'm an honorable servant of the Lord, who may have had some flaws, some mistakes in his calculations, may have saw some angles that he couldn't explain in real time, may have done some things that he did for his heart, not for his mind. I lived for people. I didn't live for myself. I didn't always give to people what I needed to give them, but that was because of myself. My mind, my traumas, my experiences, my demons, frustrations, ignorance, stupidity. All of these things that I encompassed in my head kept me from being who I ultimately would have rather been instead. And sometimes I wish I were dead. But I couldn't do the things that I love to do, I believe, if I were. I've never really enjoyed my life. But it's not one of them situations where I sit up here saying I'm angry at life. I just enjoy the pockets of the time where I'm allowed to be myself, and then proceed to allow myself to get ripped away from those comfort zones. I tell you, there would be nowhere in the world where it would be okay for me to do what it is that I do. Not America, not the jungle, nowhere. Because at the end of the day, I want others to be able to help shelter me for free, while I do what it is that I do without siphoning from anyone. And I don't know anyone who would do that for me. I don't know any investors who would love what it is that I do or believe in what it is that I'm talking about to the point where they allow me to do what comes naturally to me by taking care of all the stuff that I need taken care of for me. My disability stuff, basically. So that I can keep in a space where I don't want to implode, where I don't want to jump off of something real high for a long time, fall, and enjoy the sky as it comes down, or as I come down. Like, genuinely enjoy the falling, you know? That's how much suffering I feel like I'm in right now. It ain't even that serious. But I think that's how desperate Satan is to destroy me. That's how desperate he is to get me to not see my plan through, to get all that stuff that's in my head and in my heart out. He needs me to not be here, man. That's what I've come to understand in the midst of all of my other struggles. The enemy who wants to preserve all this stuff that I be speaking against needs me not to be here. I'm a threat to that thing. A legitimate one. That's another reason why I haven't swallowed a bullet. Because I know there's nothing more that my opponent would love than for me to do that. It would save them, not me. And it's the confidence that's in my soul. That's why I say I'm not a coward. That's why I say I'm not afraid, fearful, because I'm not. My brain is broken. My soul ain't scared. That's the difference. My mind is scared. My stomach is in knots. My body's malfunctioning. My genetics are working against me. Not my intentions, not my belief in God, not my plan or whatever this may be, with his plan upon my life. It's all aligned. I'm just ill. And ain't nobody here to confirm that because I didn't allow him to. That's part of the illness. And that had some rhyme and reason, positioning, understandings. I want to be in this position. I don't want everybody to know I'm saying all these things. If everybody knew I was saying all these things, I probably wouldn't have be able to say all of them. So I stayed in the dark. I stayed attached to the Lakers so I could talk to the right people, but not hashtagging so I didn't bring too much attention, just the right attention. I know I'm talking to some of the best at what they do. I know that. I think some of them would be the ones that would actually have the temperament to sit here for an hour and listen to this stuff. They got the money to do it. People don't have time, man. I know that. So it is what it is. So I say I don't make anything for the people today. Because in order to be here today, you ain't got time to listen to this. But that's okay. Your kids will, and that's the point. I hope that when they heard me say I would enjoy the fall, that they don't jump. I hope that when I said I saw the gun shiny, that they don't look at theirs and grab it. My prayer is that they have no intention of doing that. Because at the end of the day, just like me, if you're going to get what you get done, you're definitely going to take a bound out of the flesh of the enemy. If you could find your way to see yourself through this horrible moment, I'm pretty damn sure we're going to find another way to hit him. If that's what you're about, you're going to find a way. At the end of the day, that ain't the only enemy we got to defeat, though. It's the one inside of us that makes that gun look shiny, that makes us want that cold air against our ears. You want that gone. You want that gone. Because it wants you gone. Life is a horrible thing for a lot of people. I respect that suffering exists, as I've said many times. And I've wanted my suffering to end many, 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 many times over, including right here and now. But I also genuinely want to see what I have to say and what I have to do get done. Whatever plans the Lord has for me, I'm hopeful that he'll get it done soon, honestly. Or turn things around so that I can start enjoying life for a long time. Instead of just a short one. But right now, it just feels like I'm at a space where even if I don't want to die, it's probably my best option. Based on everything I'm looking at and everything I am, it genuinely looks like the best option I have. Instead of allowing myself to go towards certain mental ruptures that are ultimately going to drive me into further depression. When you've lived for 38 years and you know yourself, you know what this does to you. This is why I was in this space, because I had this happen before. This is why I was this weak, because I've been through that before, and it struck me negatively. It's like everything else that did. I'm telling you that in order to want to live, you got to have certain things, man, in place that I pray that y'all have. That it ain't just that gun that's so damn shiny that you have, but somebody next to you that makes living worth it. A plan in place that you have for yourself that makes keep going, something that you want to do. The temperament to face the business aspects of things and whatever, the outlet seeking and all of those things, the things that keep you motivated. May they come naturally to you so that you don't see the fruit. I'm leaving this thing like I do. And I want to stay. I'm going to do what I got to do to stay. But telling you guys, it ain't even about this being the worst thing in the world. It's about every single thing that led up to it still being there one way or another. In my head. It's funny because I'm thinking about, like, what if somebody was thinking like that? How do I help them if I'm in this space? By way of example, friend, instead of using the gun I'm talking about. You feel me? It's how. You got to get that shit out. And you got to turn yourself into somebody you respect. As I always say, you got to look in the mirror and see somebody who did some good so you can say, that person's worth it. That's what I did. That's why I look at myself and say, I'm loved. I love me. I love me now. Why? Because I've done enough to deserve it. I've done enough to deserve it. The question is how best to apply that love. Do you relieve yourself of the pain you're in? Or do you stay in that pain and endure the strength that comes with it? How best to love oneself is the answer that I need to find, and that you would need to find when you're thinking about these things. You don't listen to my voice and determine whether or not you want to leave the earth or stay. You look at what it is that's in your heart. You look at what it is, who it is that loves you. You look at who it is that you want to love and the love that you could apply if you would just allow yourself to apply that love. And you make a real, genuine, understanding decision about your worth in this world to others. Because a lot of times I believe people don't. Last time I felt like killing myself, my sister called me and told me not to. And I didn't even tell her I was suicidal. She asked me if I was. I was. At that moment, when she asked. People care about you. That's why you got to consider not doing it. Because you're going to traumatize somebody else and send them into a spiral where they're going to be looking at that shiny ass gun and thinking about the wind beneath their ears. They falling. And how much they would appreciate that shit right about now because you did something to yourself to relieve yourself of the pain you're in. You can't help them out of the pain they in. This is why you don't do it. But let me tell you something about me. I'm the kind of guy who I ain't gonna never know nothing's going on with them because I'm gonna isolate myself from all of them. It's that angle. I'm not around. I don't know. And if I am around, I'm uncomfortable. I'm uncertain. I'm thinking about this. I'm wondering if that. I'm gonna mess the energy up because when I walk away from you, I'm fine. When I get in the house, I'm fine. But when it's time for me to go back outside, I'm second guessing it for a multitude of things, multitude of reasons that I probably don't even realize I see. Angles that my mind is going to naturally look at without even identifying to me singularly as a thought. I'm just going to see it, log it, and just be like, nah. And then when I try to assess what it is I've done, it's like, damn, that was what I was looking at. I forgot. Can't tell you how many times that happens. I don't want to fight for my apartment. I don't want to move. I don't want to see nobody shit. I want to keep doing what I've been doing. And the word want is garbage. That's the one. That's where Satan gets you. Want. I want. Boom. And everything after that, it's all bad. I want. Pfft. And you end up doing stuff you have no business doing. I want. Pfft. Gifts of a divine nature of God's choosing. My wants can't hurt me then. BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.